We are always growing and evolving throughout life, and that includes how we respond and relate to people in our relationships, including the relationship to ourselves. It is not easy to change how you learn to relate to yourself and others, but it certainly helps to give yourself grace as you take these next steps. Healing a dysfunctional attachment style requires consistent and focused work on yourself, which is further fostered by being in healthy relationships with securely attached people or people walking the same path as you to develop healthier connections. Although it is not possible to change what you have experienced in the past, you can begin taking steps today to change your present experiences. It is crucial to allow yourself to ease into this process of changing your attachment style. You didn't consciously choose it, but you can consciously take action to change it. So, where do you start? Identify your relationship patterns. To develop a secure attachment in your relationships, begin by noticing when you're triggered. Much of our lives are lived on autopilot, never fully aware of why we do, feel, or behave in the ways we do, feel, and behave. Here, doing inner child work or reparenting is extremely powerful because we live in a largely unconscious society that doesn't acknowledge the importance of our emotions, which leads to many suppressed feelings and wounded memories. We're all traumatized children in adult bodies, denying our own pain, re-traumatizing ourselves unconsciously and repeatedly. Since we've been playing out our behaviors since we were young, it might never occur to us that most of our habitual patterns are coping mechanisms that disguise deep emotional wounds. To gain more clarity on what may have shaped your attachment style, start by thinking about your relationship with your caregivers as a child. How did they behave towards you as a child? How did you respond to them? Who comforted you when you needed it? Could you rely on that comfort whenever you needed it? As children, we depend on our caregivers for survival and naturally pay attention to which of our behaviors result in sustenance and belonging. Hence, we learn to prune everything that puts us at risk, thus solidifying a sense of self that we believe makes us safe. But in adulthood, are our coping mechanisms harming us more than they are keeping us safe? Get in touch with yourself. At the end of the day, everyone on the insecure spectrum contributes to dysfunction in relationships because of deeply held fears that their relationship will not work out. Our nervous system had to physiologically evolve to cope with the trauma that it was exposed regularly. It literally changed who you are. It disconnected you from yourself to protect your well-being and bury it under layers of unhealthy habits that became so familiar that most of us learned to self-identify with them. That is just who I am, we say. Whatever your attachment style is, know that it can be broken and also healed. And no matter the root cause, all healing boils down to our relationship with ourselves. Here is where we reverse the golden rule. It's not enough to treat others as we want to be treated. We need to treat ourselves as we want to be treated. And then we can treat others as we treat ourselves, because our behaviors are a projection of the quality of our attachments. When we don't trust ourselves, this shows up as betrayal in our relationships. When we don't allow ourselves to feel our feelings, we attract emotionally unavailable partners. When we vilify aspects of ourselves and treat them as the enemy, we broadcast our shame and prevent others from ever getting truly close to us. When we don't know what we need and don't set boundaries, we let others abuse us. When we don't know how to be, love, and care for ourselves, we suffocate, blame, and guilt others into giving us what we need. The quality of our attachments reflects how much we are in touch with ourselves, our needs, desires, passions, boundaries, challenges, and purpose. When we heal our insecure attachment, what we are actually doing is we're learning to securely attach to ourselves first. How can you become a safe place for your emotions to express themselves fully? For most of us, the idea of allowing ourselves to feel everything can activate extreme fear. Yet, we can also see it as an opportunity to question. Are there things in my past or present that I am somehow avoiding, and that is why I'm not allowing myself to feel them? Or is that just my conditioning telling me that to keep myself safe or in control, I must not feel too much, that getting in tune with my emotions is a waste of time, and I should rely solely on facts, or focus on taking care of others' needs to ensure no one targets me? What if the idea of feeling everything would instead ignite feelings of bliss, connection, and well-being that you never had in your life? With practice, you can pull yourself out of a trigger state by detaching from your overthinking. And instead of getting lost in the story that you're telling yourself to justify why you feel triggered, you are now asking yourself, what is the belief that is behind the story that triggered me in the first place? For instance, does someone not calling you back after a date a sign that they're not into you? Perhaps, but it's also possible that they just got busy with work, are overthinking a time to reach out to you, or prefer to take things slow. No matter the situation, you can spin all the stories you want, or you can break the pattern by addressing the heart of the matter. How is it making you feel? Are you overthinking it because you feel insecure? Are you overthinking it because you don't feel wanted? Are you overthinking it because you feel that you're not a priority? Are you overthinking it because you're setting unrealistic expectations? Get to the root of your story and then do the most transformational thing you can do. Give it to yourself. If you're feeling insecure, what can you do in that moment to feel safe that does not require someone else's affirmation of your value? Whatever uncomfortable feeling you feel, listen to its story, acknowledge it, accept that it is there, and then choose something different. That is the power of awareness. Awareness gives you freedom, and freedom gives you choices. What do you want to feel instead? How can you experience that feeling in this moment? Want to feel like you're a priority? Then make your well-being a priority in your life first. If you don't know how to do that, ask for assistance, not from others, but from yourself, to your higher self, God, creative source, to the universe, whatever you want to call it. Just ask for that guidance, for that inner wisdom that we all have, and then be open to receive that help. Be it through your intuition, a cherished memory popping into your head, a friend sharing their story, an interesting idea on a video you watch, or even in your dreams. Practicing meditation, for instance, will also get you into the habit of quieting the mind. Our minds tend to search and give meaning according to our core wounds to keep us safe. We then project them through our perception. So when we make painful assumptions, we are creating our suffering, usually in the form of self-criticism. Instead, when we quiet our minds, we experience peace. And in the presence of peace, you'll begin noticing the difference between loving guidance and judgmental mental chatter. It's your inner critic's job to reflect back to you those core wounds. Every time you deny your needs, every time you say or think self-deprecating words, you are reinforcing that belief that you have that you're not worthy of love, life, and happiness. None of these inner narratives are real. They're just a part of a perceptual filter that is familiar to you. Identify the root cause that creates those self-hate and protective patterns, and make a conscious choice to reframe them into something more neutral, if not more empowering, such as, even though I do make mistakes like everybody else, I am worthy of learning from them. Connect to your childlike self, and then give them what they needed and deserve it all along. Tell them, I am sorry you went through that. You are worthy of love just as you are. You deserve the space and the freedom to do all the things you love. I promise you're safe now. I am here to protect you. And then follow on that promise. Getting choked here. It's okay and even healthy to sit with uncomfortable feelings, but do your best to create new emotional outputs instead of dwelling on unpleasant ones. Use our metta meditation for this purpose. A link will be in the description. Create new neural pathways by using your imagination to focus on thinking, I am safe, I am loved, I am worthy, and then reinforce them by doing things that make you feel safe, loved, and worthy. Once you have identified your relationship patterns and got in touch with yourself, the next thing to consider is to lean into your attachment superpowers. It's so easy to fall into the trap of thinking that our dysfunctional perception of how we connect with others can only lead us into trouble, pain, or trauma. But that could not be so, or most of us wouldn't have survived this far into adulthood. We have the power to adjust our perception of ourselves and reinforce our better versions. Your hypervigilance allows you to see the bigger picture and respond quickly to threats. Being highly independent can reduce demand for resources and increase efficiency. Your desire for space allows you to be more respectful of other people's boundaries. Always searching for ways to have other people's needs met means they will trust you with their emotional disclosure. Likewise, not being in touch with your own emotions may make you more objective and likely to tell your friends what they need to hear and not what they want to hear. Work on your self-esteem. Embodying secure forms of attachment is about creating a safe space within ourselves and being emotionally available, present, and responsive to all of our feelings and mental states. Because if we can't be present for our emotions, how can we expect others to hold space for them? If we can't understand our needs, how can we communicate them to those we care about? And if we don't know our boundaries, how can we reinforce them when others attempt to abuse them, even unintentionally? Give yourself what you needed as a child or in your past relationship. Honor what you feel. Learn to be assertive and set boundaries, and express your needs in words without manipulation or hidden meanings. You don't need to do it alone either. Working with an attachment coach or therapist can help you dive into your attachment style, uncover past wounds, and help you identify and establish appropriate boundaries to promote a healthy relationship. They can help you examine your own very familiar tendencies to respond to others in specific, rigid ways and develop new patterns. And if you're still confused about what a healthy relationship looks like, know that none of these stages will happen in a linear way. Since healing your attachment style is a deeply personal experience, it's important to accommodate some fluidity in its resolution. Nevertheless, there are a few questions that can provide you with greater clarity and validate your conscious evolution. Now, when we speak of relationships, we refer to the type of connections we have with someone we care about, such as a partner or partners, a friend, or a family member. As a general rule, when you think of your relationship, ask yourself, do I feel seen and heard? How comfortable am I with sharing vulnerable things? Are we able to open up to each other about our challenges? Do I still learn new things about them? Do I feel like we're growing together or growing apart? Do I feel safe with them? Do I feel physically and emotionally comfortable with them to be myself around them? Or do I need to walk on eggshells, be vigilant about meeting their needs and boundaries, and naturally speak up and communicate my needs and boundaries? Do I feel I have the freedom to have a relationship with them and also a relationship with myself without those two relationships threatening one another? Do I trust them? Am I comfortable having different opinions from them? Am I comfortable expressing opposing views? Are we good at working through our disagreements to move through conflict in ways that actually create resolution? Do I feel respected by them? Do I feel my needs are met? Do I feel my boundaries are acknowledged? Do I feel loved and cared in this relationship? Neither nature nor nurture alone dictates our destiny. Everything interacts with our biology to shape each of us. Our parents, our environment, our friends, our work, our politics, our health. That's how connected we all are, and why the quality and influence of those connections are such an important component of our emotional health. Every time we experience a negation of any aspect of ourselves, be it in the form of perceived rejection, disapproval, or distancing move, that threatens our internal systems. Our egoic mind goes into protective mode, and our nervous system into overdrive to deny parts of ourselves so that we can keep those close connections. We split ourselves from ourselves, disowning these parts that we perceive as not being loving, not being deserving, not being worthy in the eyes of another, our caregivers, our partners, or society. It reinforces the belief that if we want to be closer to those we care about, we cannot accept these aspects either, because accepting them means pain, rejection, disapproval, or abandonment. When we stop caring about other people, we lose our capacity for connection. But when we are defined by what they think, we lose our connection to ourselves. This is why the next chapter of our Emotional Wellbeing series is dedicated to the active practice of self-love, because self-love is the root from which everything grows. We invite you to continue on this journey with us to improve your emotional health and find balance and clarity in your life. My name is Liz, and we're on a mission to help you upgrade your emotional body through our Emotional Wellbeing series. If you're interested in this content, please like, share, and subscribe for weekly videos and bonus content, and we'll see you next time.